Myrtle Beach. Nothing against Myrtle Beach. I love Dirty Myrtle. But I'm actually at the beach and thought that I would miss a lot of the crowds. I did get a pretty good deal on the Airbnb, but I thought I'd miss the crowds. Maybe it's not as bad as, say, I don't know, July 4th, but there's still a lot of people here, and I'm actually in a beach town on purpose just to kind of get away from things. And it's still pretty, crowded down here. So normally I have my laptop, I have my facts about the team in front of me just to make sure I say the right thing. I know that my phone is kind of hissing, so if you hear a hiss sound, I'm sorry about that, folks. But I want to talk about Tennessee and Florida. Now, the Volunteers, they turned the tide last year. They beat the Tide last year, and they beat the Gators. But my brother-in-law graduated from Tennessee. He said, look, Florida could be terrible, but when they play Tennessee, they could win the Super Bowl, just because that's how they do it. And I agree with that assessment. By the way, I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes right now. So if I'm twitching around and everything, I'm not doing a funky dance. I'm actually getting eaten up. That's my fault for being outside. But Tennessee, this is a chance for them with Josh Heupel to get past something else, and that is winning in Gainesville, Florida. They have not won in Gainesville, Florida in 20 years. 2003, okay? So they beat the Gators last year in Knoxville, all right? So what would be a great move for their football program and for Josh Heupel, getting those first out of the way, is to beat Florida at Florida. Now, right now, Tennessee's like a 6.5 point favorite, which means that there's suspicion that they're going to win the game, but it's not going to be a give me game. You know what I'm saying? And we all know what this game comes down to. Joe Milton. So I had Sports Talk Jay on my channel, one of the fastest growing college football YouTubers that I know of, as well as a very well-known Tennessee Volunteers YouTuber on my channel. And I told him point blank, I said, I like Tennessee. I don't have a problem with Tennessee. It's good to see them doing well. But I'm not sold on Joe Milton. This is a guy who came out of high school highly, highly recruited. He has freakish athletic ability. But he lost the job at Michigan. He came to Tennessee, lost the job at Tennessee to a guy that was coming out of a Virginia Tech program that was blah. Hendon Hooker did great. I'm not taking away from Hendon Hooker. I think that the Josh Heupel, Hendon Hooker relationship was perfect. That was perfect. But I just said, look, I could care less that this guy can throw the ball 900 yards down the field. I question his decision making. I question his ability to adjust to the big college game, no matter if he has been at Michigan for whatever reasons. But I just want to say this. I have nothing against Joe Milton. I'm just trying to be realistic here. I'm trying to be realistic about my own Clemson team. Obviously, I'm going to be realistic about him. And it really depends upon which Joe Milton you see tomorrow. Are you going to see the Joe Milton that you've basically seen his entire career except for when he played Clemson? If so, there's a chance Florida wins this ball game. Now, one thing about Joe Milton, he hasn't thrown an interception all season. He has some very talented players around him. I mean, he has Brew McCoy, he has Squirrel White, he has that Thornton kid from the transfer from Oregon who is ridiculous, Jabari Small. I mean, that Sampson kid. Now, if I mention someone who got injured and I don't know about it, folks, literally I left my laptop at home. I've only been doing videos, so I'm having to do this off the top of my head. But he has talent around him. It's almost just like get the ball to the playmakers and, don't throw the ball in the dirt. Get it close to them. These guys can go up and make the catch. They can catch the ball and make something happen. Just get it to them. You don't have to be Superman. Now, on the other side, you have Graham Mertz. And Graham Mertz transferred out of Wisconsin, went to Florida. You know, I know that the Utah game didn't turn out even like I predicted because I've seen Utah and I like Whittingham. But the problem is Whittingham, he'll win games like against Southern Cal, but he'll turn around in the Rose Bowl and blow it. He'll play a Florida team that last year was not that great, and he blew it. Well, the Swamp is hard to play in. True, I get that, but I'm just saying their overall product that Florida put out last year, overall, on paper, Utah should have won that game. So what I'm looking at with this one is, you know, you have to respect Graham Mertz and Ricky Pearsall. I mean, the guy can play. You got Trevor Etienne, the great Travis Etienne's brother back there. You have to respect those guys. Florida, no matter what has happened so far, Florida has talent on their team. They're one of those teams that no matter what, they're going to have talent on the football team. And even when they're bad, they're going to have talent on the football team. I do think with this game being such a rivalry, it's going to be a close game. I don't want to take away from Graham Mertz. I don't want to take away from their team. I don't want to take away from the offensive players on Tennessee's team. I don't want to take away from Brew McCoy or Squirrel White, who's talented. I don't want to take away from these guys, Thornton or I don't want to, you know, Jabari Small. I don't want to take away from these guys. But I hate to say it. Once again, it's the same old. This is really the story of the 2023 season. Which Joe Milton are you going to get out? Because I'm going to tell you this, and I'm not talking trash here. I'm just being honest. Remember, I have a lot of Clemson fans right now who are really unhappy with me because of the things that I've said about Clemson so far this season. I've criticized our coach. I've criticized our administration. And so, trust me, you're looking at public enemy number one for Clemson, for the Clemson community. And I'm not doing it to get clicks. I'm not doing it to stir the pot or try to get a. I'm just telling the truth. Clemson football doesn't look good. We're not terrible. We're not 5-6 or 5-7. We're not. You know, we're not 8-4. We're heading there. We're heading there. I have to remind Clemson fans all the time, it's been, what, 5 years since we won a national championship? 4 years since we won a national championship? And every year kind of sneaks up on you. Oh, that was 1 year ago. Oh, that was 2 years ago. You're overreacting. Oh, that was 3 years ago. Oh, no, that was 4 years ago. Oh, that was, see, I told you. If you can't fix Clemson now, when can you fix Clemson? Ask Nebraska that. A team who was synonymous with winning all the time. But going back to Tennessee, I'm going to tell you the truth. Which Joe Milton comes out? And if Joe comes out there and you know, if he plays like he did against the first half of Virginia is a terrible football team. And they hung around. And if they, and I know somebody's going to go, well, they didn't, so no. That's not going to work when you play Alabama. That's not going to work when you play teams like, you know, LSU or Georgia or whoever is on your schedule that is fantastic. That if you'll understand what I'm saying, if you were playing someone like Alabama or if you were playing Georgia and you played like you did against Virginia, against them, good luck. You'll have a giant, massive crater of a hole to dig yourself out in. And by the way, you're not going to do it. Not because I despise Tennessee or I don't respect them. No, I'm saying that's what will happen. That's what will happen. And so I'm pulling for Tennessee in this game. I hope Tennessee wins this ball game. But it all comes down to Joe Milton again, man. It all comes back down to Joe Milton. Hey, listen, if you want to subscribe to the channel and you haven't subscribed so far, but you're always watching, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. We got Tiger Paw Craven in here. Tiger Paw, you and I, we need to get together next week. Talk to Jordan. Let's try to set up a time to talk about Florida State football next week. Tiger Paw Craven and Jordan Bowman runs the Mark Rogers Clemson football channel, and I've had them both on. I've been on their channel. I can't wait. We need to get together. We need to get together and have a good time and talk about the Florida State game next week. But if you haven't subscribed, the easiest way to support the channel is subscribe. A lot of you have subscribed in the past month. If you want to support the channel on a monetary basis, we have a $3 and a $5 tier. Somebody asked me what's the difference. I said literally, just if you want to give $3 per month or $5 per month, that's literally it. So if you enjoy what I do, please do that. If you want to super chat, please super chat. Super thanks, whatever it is. George says, I agree with everything you said. I hope Florida wins. Hey, you love your Gators, and you should be pulling for them. Folks, you take care of yourself. Listen to me. I'm going to do a video right after this. Alabama named a quarterback, a new starting quarterback, who transparently they should have named week 1, and maybe they would have had a little better chance at Texas. I'll get to that in a second. I'll be doing a video on that in just a moment. I look forward to talking to y'all. You take care.